Good evening and welcome to Let's Drone Out, episode 265. We may shortly have a Jack appearing shortly. First, he had to mop up some blood, and now he has to mop up his microphone. So we'll see if he turns up or not. But joining us this evening, we have we have
Honoured.
the amazing presence of Andy RC.
Oh, hello.
Wearing some lovely Cadex gear there. We have Curry Kitten.
Homeless. Oh, it says
Hello.
team. I just realised it says, look, what I'm an official team pilot.
Team pilot.
I've just learned that from reading it on the camera.
Quick,
There you
find
go,
out what your
official.
terms are. Ask for payment.
Yeah. That's
We
cool.
have Tony.
Bonjour.
And we have BlueOwl FPV. Thank you for coming on again.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me.
So last time you were on with the Girls' Night number 3 that Tony organised, and you were about to do quite a major move, I believe, which is a tricky thing to do at the moment. How did that go?
Yeah, that's true. I moved abroad to a new country where I've never been before. Well, I've never lived here before, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, it all went well, surprisingly. Like I said, the COVID was nice to us this time. It allowed us to move. So yeah.
And
Nice.
cheap beer.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm in Czech Republic, so we have some
It's,
really good, really cheap beer.
Water is more expensive.
Yeah. Czech Republic is famous for having cheaper beer than bottled water, and it's real. It's true. So
That is
it's a good country to move.
brilliant.
And
I'm
you're
coming.
moving from France, right?
Yeah, that's true. So now I'm actually waiting to meet some new people, FPV people, and find some new spots. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm in a big city now. But yeah.
So if we
Yeah.
have anyone in the Czech Republic who's listening, who knows some good spots or some groups or anything, then let us know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You did put out a video after you came on last time. We
Yes, you
bullied
did.
you into putting a video out.
I did, yes. I promised you guys, so I did it.
Oh, bless.
Good to see. You seem to get a lot of comments on there and likes and things, so it looked like it went down well.
Yeah. I have. I'm pretty lucky. My subscribers are very, very nice. They always leave some nice comments. So yeah.
That's
And was
good.
that? I guess that was in France, was it?
Yeah, that was still in France. Yes, actually, yes, could be Switzerland. I'm not sure. I used to live on just next to the border with Switzerland, so sometimes you would just kind of get lost and explore the spots, and suddenly you don't even notice when you're in Switzerland.
I want to go to Switzerland.
That sounds good because you can stand in France, fly in Switzerland, and if anybody has problems on either end, you'll just be like, "I'm here. I've nothing to do with that quad," and vice versa. If the Swiss police suddenly come over, you may cause a bit of an international incident, but it's a good get out clause.
That could have worked. I've never tried that. Maybe next time I will when I go back.
So have you flown at all in the Czech Republic?
Not yet. It's been only 2 weeks, so yeah,
Okay.
I haven't even charged my lipos. But yeah, I expect to fly soon. Actually, I already got in touch with some people from Prague,
Nice.
and I might actually have to learn how to fly in bandos and how to race because this is what they do, and I just like hanging out with people. So I might have to, switch a little bit.
Well,
Which
that
is
sounds
fine.
awesome.
It's fine, yeah. It's what I need anyway, because if you notice in my videos, I usually fly next to trees, and trees are very forgiving. I mean, there are some small gaps, but you can still get away, stay away from troubles pretty easily. While in bandos and in races, you really need that precision that I need to work on. So it could be good. I'm gonna break a lot of stuff for sure.
Sounds good
Yes.
though. I think we'd all kill for bandos around here. They're really rare, aren't they? They're mostly up north where it's a bit third worldy up that side of the country. But down here in the south, if a space bigger than a postage stamp exists, I'll put a block of flats on it or something. So we never find anything.
Absolutely. But the other thing that has been going on recently that I know you've been involved with has been the Fly Like a Girl competition. I
Yeah, that's
think-
correct. Yes.
Was it is it last Thursday or Friday that was the final entry date for the first round of it?
That's
So
correct.
you're not flying in it. You're judging it this time, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah, and I'm missing out a lot of fun, but it's also fun. It's really fun to judge as well, and it's really great to see all these videos. We had 11 submissions this year. Last year we had, well, together with me there were 14, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because 3 participants are now judging this year. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for more, but I know that people got busy, and I think with the COVID, people got generally. I don't want to use the word lazy, but a little bit less used to flying regularly.
It's a bit
maybe.
harder it's been harder to
Yeah,
get out and fly.
yeah.
So there's a bit less everything going on. So one of the questions I had, because when the post went up on Instagram, I went over and I watched all the videos, and what was really impressive is the amount of variety. So as I was saying to you before, there were some really epic locations, and then there were some sort of plain locations, but some really smooth flying, and some were like really tightly edited, and some was just sort of DVR footage. So I was interested to know how you guys were possibly going to compare like for like, because the videos are so different. Is it a tough job so far? Have you started? Have you got through? Do you know what's going into round 2 yet?
Yes, we already have the top 5. Actually, we're skipping round 2. Well, we're skipping the one of the rounds, so we only have one left, the final. And we have the top 5. And yes, you're right. It was super tough to judge. But we had some categories. We had 4 categories. I think it was published by Jamie. We had location, precision, flow, and like a general category, meaning that you can basically judge whether based on your feeling, if you like it or not. And one thing, we didn't judge the editing. We also didn't judge whether it was DVR or HD, because, well, people have access to different kind of equipment. You can't, judge whether someone doesn't have a GoPro, for example. But when it comes to the location, we also didn't judge how cool it was, but how well you were using what you had. So how well you're flying in the spot, not, for example, around the spot, if you see what I mean. So yeah, we just had to remember that it was freestyle competition. It was not, you just keep that in mind, that it's freestyle competition, and you try to concentrate on the technical side of flying, and it gets slightly easier. It was still super tough, really. But yeah, we had 5 judges, and then the score was an average of our numbers.
And I think those entries are visible up on the Flylikeagirl FPV video competition YouTube channel, which we've linked down below. So anyone who's watching or listening can.
They are well worth a watch. What's quite nice, because I think you had a limit of 3 minutes, so they're all quite. You can watch them all in one sitting and have a really good feel for how everybody else was flying there. It was good. Yeah, good watch. Well worth it. I look forward to seeing who the next round is, or the finalists, I guess.
Yeah, it's already published. So
is it? I haven't looked at Instagram.
Yeah. Well, not the videos, but the top 5 is already published. I think since yesterday out, so you can check it out. And then the videos should appear probably in around a week or so. The results will be published on the 4th of October, so in 1.5 weeks.
There's some quite good prizes as well, I see.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, there are 2 sponsorships for first place. And it was already the case last year, and I won this competition and I got an Armatan sponsorship, which I could never, ever even dream of, seriously. It was so, I would never even imagine that I would be sponsored by anyone, and especially, Armatan. So it was really great. And it's the same this year, which is really exciting.
It's really good, isn't it? Really good.
So do you have an Armaton product that you want to plug here now that you have the opportunity? Get your the sponsorship happy.
Well, honestly I moved and all of my drones are still in boxes and in the car, so I don't even have the t-shirt today. But
What's your favorite frame of theirs that you've flown?
My favorite frame is the good old Rooster. I've had it for ages, and yeah, maybe not everybody knows, but Armaton has this lifelong warranty. And it really works. It really works. I checked it many times. You basically buy the frame. I know they're not the cheapest frames, but you buy the frame once and then you can just keep breaking it as many times as you want. And it doesn't mean you just break it accidentally. You can just basically crash full speed into something and then they will replace everything that you've broken. And this is really great. And apart from that, Armaton, yeah, Chris is a great guy. The team is great, so I'm very, very happy. It's literally the best sponsor I could ever have. So yeah,
It's pretty cool, man.
yeah.
What were because as Tony presumably has it up because he was looking at it, I think. What are the prizes for this year?
That's honestly that's a good question. I don't know the whole list.
It's quite a lot.
Because it also kept changing. We were getting updates as we were getting new prizes, and then it was being reshuffled. Let me see. I'm just gonna quickly have a look. So there is a Gemfun and Orca sponsorship. This is probably the highlight. This is the first place. Then there is the Hummingbird Pro from Newbie Drone. There are motors from 533. Then there is a gift card to Brain 3D and Diatone GTB 399. Sorry, I don't know it, but yeah, this is the first place. Plus, there are some extras as well. There are some antennas. There is I think that's a frame from Schizo, right? It's QAV R2. Yeah, there are some flight controllers, radio groups, and so on. There is a long list. And that's only the first place. There's also, by the way, yes, there is also a popular vote. So if you liked one of the videos in particular, you can go ahead and vote in the channel, in the Flylikeagirl channel. And the person who gets the biggest number of votes will get some extra prizes as well, apart from the 1, 2, and 3.
Nice.
Cool,
There we go.
cool.
There's extra incentive for everyone to go watch all those videos and pick their favorite then, I guess.
Definitely.
But yeah, 'cause the other thing that we were talking about last time you were on was how you kind of had been involved in drones. I mean, first of all, for such a long time. I mean, Jack was very impressed with some of the gear that you had because he's a big fan of the older gear as anyone who's noticed what he's been talking about building on Facebook and asking for advice at the moment. He's been asking for resistor codes and all sorts. So he was very impressed with what the old gear that you had. I mean, the other thing I think was the camera angle impressed everyone that you were flying at.
Made me scared. I don't know if it impressed me. It sounds insane.
Yeah, that's what people say as well.
Yeah, I think it was shown off well in your video, like why and how you fly with that camera angle. I think you can tell that quite well. But the other thing was that you'd flown around CERN, I remember, as the kind of interesting nugget there. But
yeah,
I don't think we went too far down that road.
We
so
didn't. Please
definitely-
expand on this.
Yeah,
We're all
I'm
interested.
definitely interested to know the story behind flying at CERN.
Yeah, so when we say flying at CERN, it doesn't actually mean flying FPV at CERN. That was my job. That's where I worked, so I didn't want to mess with my workplace. But I was still flying drones at CERN because I was the one and only drone pilot at CERN. Something that not many people know is that at CERN is not only about physics. This is what people talk about because this is the main field. This is what it's, CERN is all about. But to be able to run such a huge organization, you need a lot more. You need a lot of engineers. You need people who will, simple things like you need people who will take care of the garbage. You need people who will take care of the buildings. There was even fire brigade at CERN. So we also had a little small team, which was basically surveying the whole territory of CERN and making maps and making sure that everything is updated, indoors and outdoors. And when I applied to CERN, I didn't even know, but they were actually looking for a drone pilot. It was kind of an open application, so I didn't expect much. To be honest, when I was applying, I would never expect that I could get a job in a place like this. So, I applied and then I forgot, and then I got the job, which was it was a nice surprise. But yeah, that meant I had to move abroad again. That was already, 4 years ago? I think a bit less than 4 years ago. And yeah, we got a drone.
Can I just quickly interject? Because does this mean you didn't apply for a job as such? You just like, would you like to work for CERN? And you're like, yes. And when they interviewed you, did the stuff about drones and stuff come out there, or was it all sort of a bit like, do you like black holes? Do you like physics? And trying to work out what you were about?
Yeah, no, actually, there is a program called Fellowship that anybody can. Well, there are some conditions. It's not. It's meant to be for fresh graduates from, I think, up to 10 years after you graduate, you can apply for this program. And it's a contract of 3 years. It's not negotiable. You can't extend it more. That's why I'm not there anymore. But it was pretty, still pretty cool, 3 years. And yeah, I applied for an open position. I just described my background, and I've I've worked in a company building and flying drones before. So yeah, they kind of like I think there are not many people, who apply with this kind of background. And apart from that, my background is actually photogrammetry and remote sensing. So that includes map making and processing the data from satellites, from planes, from drones as well. So that was perfect. That was what they were looking for, and it was just doing the right thing in the right moment. And yeah, I got a job. I got the job. It was pretty exciting. Yeah, and I mapped CERN for 3 years with a drone and taught people how to do it as well. I had to pass my, get my pilot certificate in French as a beginner in French. That was pretty challenging as well. And like I said, I live next to Switzerland, so it was also pretty difficult to follow all the regulations, because when you fly as, when you are a professional drone pilot, you have to follow the regulations. And there's one thing that people don't talk about. Usually when I tell people that I'm a drone pilot, they get very excited and they say, really cool, they say they're jealous. But what you don't realize is that flying is probably about 10% of your work. If you're doing everything around it, there is so much flight planning, there is so much, about the regulations, contacting the airport, getting all the permissions, and then making sure that you get the good data, and then processing the data, integrating it. It's probably more than 90%.
Wow,
that's the hard bit. The good
Making
bit
it
is,
useful,
the good bit is the 8% flying. That's the only bit that I could do.
Yeah, the flying part is pretty easy. At least it was. Yeah, I loved flying. It was always a highlight when we could go out flying, and there were so many different things to do. We had some inspections to do. We had to survey new buildings. Sometimes I was playing with some 3D models. I was pretty much, free to explore different things. It was a new thing at CERN. We've never had a drone before, and everybody knew that there was a drone pilot, and everybody knew who I was, because I was the only one. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what sort of drone was it? Like a Matrice or something that you had to build, or did they already have it?
No, we actually got a Falcon 8 from Ascending Technologies. It's an octocopter. It's a V-shaped octocopter.
Is it big?
Mm.
It's pretty big, yeah. It's more or less, 1 meter, I think. Still,
They make a good noise though when they take off.
the flying is pretty easy. You don't fly in rates. You fly with the GPS.
Mm.
The only scary moment is when you get some interference, and at CERN it could happen in many places. So that
Yeah,
would
I
be
can imagine there
hard,
might be
but
some very
we
interesting experience around CERN.
yeah. So it was pretty fun. I think one fun moment I remember is when I joined, and it's not related to drones, but I think it's pretty funny. Going from my building to the restaurant for lunch, I had to go past a building which was called an antimatter factory. And I was like, at the beginning, I thought, okay, that's a cool name for just a ugly building. And for 2 weeks, I didn't even realize, but it was an actual antimatter factory. They were actually making antimatter inside of it, and then you just, your brain just explodes because it's something you could only, read about in your physics book. So it was pretty. It was a nice place to work.
It's an interesting commute past the the local bit of the universe that has some antimatter in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And are you interested in the sort of the tech stuff, like the photogrammetry? Because I've never done any of that, but it kind of looks interesting about how you'd have to get the data and how you'd process that, and what's the difference between getting good data and bad data in terms of making the maps. Was that interesting? Was it the sort of thing that floats your boat?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what I was actually studying. There is you can study these things.
Really?
We were learning more traditional ways of, when I was a student, that was 2010 to 2015, we didn't talk about drones yet. It was not, at least in Poland, there were no classes about drones. We didn't process drone imagery. But there is a lot going on with the satellite imagery, for example. So yeah, it's a whole big field that you can study, and yeah, definitely there's a lot going on. So like I said, actually, many people, I know that in the FPV community, sometimes you can see a little bit of hate towards people who fly Phantoms and Mavics and just take photos, and then
only a little bit of hate.
Yeah. Because from our perspective, the flight characteristics it's just so simple to fly it. You basically push a button and it takes off and lands for you. There's nothing you have to do, right? But the thing is, when you're doing projects with drones, like photogrammetry projects, the whole complexity is still there, but it's not in the flight, if you see what I mean. It's really spread out throughout the whole project, but it's still there. You still need a lot of skill, and you need to spend a lot of time planning, and then you take the data, you process the data. It's still it's not that simple.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't like doing that bit of it. I just like the flying bit. That's all I do. I'm a pro. I've got paid for work. That makes me a pro, right?
Are you allowed to have paid for work yet, Tony?
It was indoors, right, Tony? It was indoors.
Yeah, exactly.
All right then.
Well, in fact, in a television, I believe.
Yes.
Does that make it extra indoors?
It does.
Yeah. So since CERN, presumably you've still been kind of using the drones and surveying and putting all that stuff together, because I think I saw a post on your Instagram about something kind of related. So what have you been doing kind of since leaving the antimatter factory behind?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. So yeah, when I finished my contract, I thought, okay, so how do I top that? Like how do you get a cooler job. And I think I've told you before, I get bored pretty quickly and pretty easily. So yeah, actually, I found another job, and it's still with drones. And believe me or not, but I think it's even cooler than working at CERN. I mean, CERN was really cool. It was really cool too. But it got, to be honest, at the end of it, it got pretty repetitive, because how many times can you map the same land, the same area, right? And my job right now, so I work at WeRobotics. It's NGO. It's called WeRobotics, but 90% of the time we actually work with drones. And it's an NGO, it's a non-profit who created a very cool concept. They started a network of flying labs. And the flying labs, I know that some of you guys are watching me, so hi guys, hi Tiam, I've seen Tanzania flying labs as well. And yeah, the flying labs, these are local knowledge hubs, which are located mostly in the developing countries, in the global south. So Africa, South America, and Asia mostly. And what we do at WeRobotics, and this is my job. Well, the position is called Drone and Data System Specialist. Basically, I'm the technical person who supports the network and with whatever they need, you know. And it's a pretty cool concept, because when you think about it, there are, you know, we are kind of used to this concept of sending the international experts to do some work, for example, in Africa, and then they go back to their countries, to the US or Europe or Australia, and the people there, they are left with, you know, they're left with nothing. They don't know how to continue the project. They don't know how to use drones. They don't know what to do with the images, because we're speaking about drone projects specifically, right? But our idea is to actually invest the time and build the capacity of the people who were, you know, born there, and who know their country the best, and they know their needs, they know the local languages, and they are really, really intelligent, great people. They are full of passion. They are so creative. It's super inspiring working with them. So my job is to support their projects when it comes to hardware and software, and they have all kinds of projects. The general sort of category is social good. So anything goes, anything really. So environmental projects, I don't know, cargo projects for example, medicine delivery, anything that helps people in any way, disaster response, you know, disaster relief, things like this. There are so many examples. And right now we have 30 groups, 30 flying labs. Most of them are located in Africa. There is one group per country. And their role is not only to work on the project, but also to spread the knowledge, to teach other people, and to kind of make sure that everybody understands the technology and that it's going forward in their countries.
Wow.
Can I call on you? I've got some beta fight problems at the moment.
Sure.
Is there any chance that I can just, hit you up on Instagram? You can help me out a bit.
I don't think your project's community based enough, and it's not helping a developing country. So you're back of the queue for you, Tony.
Okay, I'll take that.
I can still help, you know.
Take pity on you specifically.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, actually, it's a good timing to talk about it, because tomorrow we have an anniversary of the creation of Flying Labs. It's our 5th birthday. We're celebrating the Flying Labs Day.
Wow, happy birthday, Flying Labs.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Are you going to go out for a fly?
Maybe. I think it's going to rain, so we'll see.
Oh, man.
I might.
It's that time of year again now, isn't it?
Do you have this rule as well? So whenever you get a new job, you need to change countries you're working in, because you do seem to move about a lot as well.
She gets
Yeah,
bored.
that's
She
true.
told you
That's
she gets bored of countries and moves.
no, in this case, it was a little bit different because, well, WeRobotics it's kind of different than anything I've ever seen, honestly. And we all work remotely. And I started in January, just before the lockdown and the whole COVID craziness. And that was perfect because I got this job. I started working remotely. I struggled for like a month or two. I had to get used to it. And then when everybody started working remotely, I was like, what do you mean, guys? It's easy. I was already set. I was all good. So yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, it was a good timing.
Do you always work remotely, or do you ever get to, like, pre-COVID at least? Did you get to like go out and visit the flying labs at all?
Yeah, we do travel sometimes. We had a meeting of all flying labs planned in Kenya in May, and then I think, well, I was kind of supposed to go to Senegal as well, but everything got cancelled. May was already pretty hot when it comes to COVID, so unfortunately we had to cancel the plans. But yeah, sometimes we train people. There are many things that we take for granted, actually, when you think about it. When you live in Europe or in the US, we're really privileged. And sometimes you don't even think about it, but actually, people who live in Africa, they may not have access. We can go to, I don't know, to any shop or to any website and order a Phantom or whatever we want, actually. And, you can learn pretty quickly to process the data, and you're good to go. You're a photogrammetry expert. You can get your certificate pretty quickly and easily. But for them, without the access to even to the technology, and without any sorts of regulations and any way to get certified, you're required to be certified if you're working with drones, but you don't have a way to do it. This is really stopping them. So the big part of our work and our mission is to provide the same access that we have and that we take for granted. For example, we work on tech partnerships. We partner up with some companies who we know they are just next door, and they may provide some licenses or some discounts for gear and stuff like that. And this helps a lot. It's just about having equal access and equal opportunities.
That's pretty cool. Is there like any kind of place where you can donate old stuff that you could send or something? Like I've got like hundreds of drones downstairs. Some of them are antiques, but if someone else could,
Tony's trying to get out of taking his drones to the tip. He's like, "Oh, can you take all these?"
I like keeping my stuff, but I'm just wondering if there's like places out there where you can, if you had some old motors that you could send, or some old FCs or something, that.
Maybe, I don't know. We've never thought about this. So yeah, maybe I'll
might be
ask
a good
them.
idea.
Somebody will. Yeah.
Set up some kind of the thing where you can, if you're changing your motors and you don't want them, you can send 3 if you've only got 3, and then if they all go somewhere, someone can make good of them.
Tanzania Flying Labs is saying, on the plus side, we do a lot of beyond visual line of sight flights in Tanzania. Is that because you're allowed to, or you just do it anyway?
There's no rules.
It's my question. There's no rules.
No rules. They just do it.
I like the idea.
Yeah, there were some pretty cool projects. For example, Nepal Flying Labs and Dominican Republic, they've worked on cargo drones where, there is this problem that we don't really have in Europe. And it's when, during the rainy season, the roads disappear because there are no asphalt roads. Even the main roads are, sometimes in a pretty bad condition. And there are many remote communities, especially in countries like Nepal. There are many mountains. There are places where you just cannot get. And imagine getting sick, in such a remote village. You cannot just, take a car or fly out
Imagine-
or whatever. You cannot
Yeah,
get
because you could be washing up and there was a sharp knife in the washing up and you cut your finger and you dripping blood everywhere and you can't make it to your own channel and do your podcast because you hurt. And then you need a remote drone coming in with blood to top up your finger. Yeah, I know.
That's kind of this kind of problems that we're dealing with every day.
I get that. No, but I can imagine in them remote places how good it would be a life-saving drone coming in to drop drugs and stuff like that. It would just be wicked. Really good.
But to be fair, we've been dropping drugs for a while in this country, but mainly into prisons, as I remember it.
I know. There is.
Imagine doing the same, but for social good.
Yeah.
It's
Carrie.
Retraining those criminals to do good with that drug dropping, and don't worry too much about trying to drop it in the window. Just So is this? I guess are these projects sort of unmanned, sort of long range, like take something, do sort of a mission plan and drop it somewhere and then fly back and have a sort of regular thing. I mean, people have been talking about that for a while. I get the feeling there's more sort of red tape in the West that's stopping people from doing it because we all get a bit like you can't fly drones around here. But over in places in more developing countries, it sounds like you can cut through the red tape a bit and you can just get on with it and start getting things delivered nicely.
Yeah, but that's the thing in the developing countries. The regulations are often so, they're so early on in the development of the regulations that very often actually flying labs sometimes work with the governments to introduce the regulations and to, develop them. So sometimes it's actually easier to get a permission.
I like that. I guess you can sort of show this is good. Look, and it's like, oh yeah, that's good. Let's have that in before the hysteria breaks out, and you're accused of bringing down 747s and things.
Yeah, no, but everything is legal, and they always make sure to get all the permissions. It's a normal thing when you do it for work. You don't really want to risk doing something stupid and flying into an airspace of an international airport, for example. You really need to know what you're doing.
So usually are the projects based around hardware that's kind of the off-the-shelf stuff that would kind of usually be used commercially, in Europe or the US, or is it more kind of the scratch-built, assembled that maybe we have more as a hobby level?
Actually, it depends. There are all kinds of hardware, and that's because every flying labs is different. We do not tell them how to do things or what to use. They're pretty independent, and every group, like I said, every group is different. So it's sort of like a franchise model, if you see what I mean. They are part of the network, but they could have completely different backgrounds. So some of them actually, I know there are a few who specialize in custom built stuff, but most of them use off-the-shelf solutions.
So, I was just going to say, because they're all doing different stuff, so I take it you're not there to sort of say this is how you do it. You're there to support them. Have you come up? Have they sort of presented you with ideas you sort of thought, I haven't thought of that. That's an interesting way of doing things.
Yeah, it happens very often, actually. I'm there to support them because I have maybe better access, easier access to the companies and to hardware, software, and all that kind of stuff, and training as well. But very often it's me who's learning from them or with them. I always work on a different project. Like every day, I could work on a different project because there's just so much going on around the world. So and that's pretty cool. That's very exciting.
It does sound like a fun job. Well done. And you've won up to CERN somehow.
Yeah, somehow I know, right?
Yeah, 'cause it's like you get to, it's like not even a specific tool. It's like it's this general group of tools that you know how to use, and then you're working with other people so that they can then apply them to lots of different problems, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about, like I said, it's not just about hardware, because there is the whole data processing and data analysis part where you could, for example, predict floods, or, do
Oh yeah.
kinds of stuff. I don't know, look for damages. And we have some projects with AI and, feature recognition. There are all kinds of projects. It's very exciting, honestly. It's super cool. So yeah, check them out. WeRobotics and Flying Labs.
Okay. So I guess is that WeRobotics.com, or I'm just
That's
going to guess
org.
that.
Yeah.
Quick, put some links in.
Yeah. We'll put
All
some
right.
links in.
Should I put them in the live chat?
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Do you need to be a moderator to do that?
All right.
Try it, see what happens. Yeah, put some links in.
Oh yeah,
Well,
true. Doesn't work.
Andy, just make Blue Owl a moderator. And
You'll be a moderator in seconds. Hold on.
I'll just send it to you on the private chat, and then you can forward it.
Yeah, that'll work also.
There we go. WeRobotics.org. There we go.
You're right.
Coco,
She cut her little thumb the other day, and she made it running.
Was she washing up?
No, she was weirdly, she runs all the time with me, running on the mountain bike trails for a year. Nothing ever happens, and I thought, oh, I'm going out tomorrow. I'll take her for a quick walk over the park. And we went over the park for like 15 minutes, and she caught it on the grass. Ridiculous.
This is
So she
Coco,
cut her paw
Tony's
on
dog,
grass?
for those of you listening on the podcast, just to explain.
No, you know when dogs do the little mental run around thing when they just burn off their energy. She stopped really fast and turned, and it just caught on something.
Ah. You'll have to put those shoes back on her just for comedy effect.
I sent them back. They're so small. I'd love to keep her in some dog running shoes, but no, she just stood there and went, I can't do this. It's quite funny. Bless her, but she's all right.
So Blue Owl, having only been a couple of weeks since you moved to where you're now talking to us from, you're going to be maybe moving again sometime soon. But other than that, what else have you got planned for the rest of the year? Have you got any other plans at all?
Just survive. That would be nice. It's already
number one. Tick.
It's already
Great
an accomplishment.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any big plans. Yeah, like I told you, I'm waiting to meet these new people and find some cool spots around here. We'll see how it's gonna go. I'm pretty happy to be a bit closer to home right now because I come from Poland, so I'm just around the corner for a change. I used to live in so many different places, but it's always been far away from home, so that would be nice as well to go home. There's actually there are some pretty cool spots actually around my hometown, so I might make some videos there. But yeah, there's not much really.
Make more videos again.
Yes, should we ask now? So then you promised us a video in a
more videos.
Yeah.
Okay, are you gonna make me promise again?
Yes, because everyone loves it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just I love flying. I have mixed feelings about social media, so that's probably why I disappeared. And there's been a lot going on. It's really the WeRobotics has kind of like a startup energy, if you see what I mean, because there's a lot going on. Everything is changing constantly, which is great because you never get bored, and it kind of absorbed my energy. I'll keep flying. That's what I can promise you. I can't promise making a lot of videos. I'll definitely keep flying. It's what I do. It's what makes me happy and sane. So.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, most of us use it to. Well, we used to use it to get away from, life. and get out in the field on your own or with your mates and enjoy yourself. And just
Exactly,
forget about your mortgage and your worries and COVID and
Mm.
what have you.
Yeah, I think I need a couple of lipos. I'm starting to get a bit grumpy at home. I haven't been out for a couple of
You need
weeks.
to get out there,
Need to do
mate.
something. Oh, have you seen the weather though? Haven't you? It's been pretty
Yes.
awful
Not
lately.
good. I think the weekend's going to be all right though.
Yeah, try and do something this weekend.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Just get out there.
Just a thought with kind of your broad view of lots of different tech. Is there anything out there that's kind of really got your interest at the moment of like some new tool you found, either hardware or software, playing around with at the moment?
I'm exploring some stuff. So the newest thing that I really can't wait to test is, maybe some of you will know a company called Pix4D in Switzerland. They make the best data processing software. Basically, whenever you wanna, make a 3D model or make a map of your house or your property or anything else, you'll easily find it. And they just released a product called Pix4D Matic, and I think it was released last week, and I really can't wait to test it. So this is what I'm excited about. It's like a next generation software for drone data processing, which is quite great.
What's maybe, because I've seen loads of interesting maps that have been just visual, photographic ones, as I think Curry was demonstrating in one of his sims last week. There was an interesting one of the British castle.
Yeah, we did the castle one and the skateboarding thing, didn't we?
But I've seen some that are not visual light, but some other things as well. So there's like LiDAR things as well that'd be interesting. But what's the, maybe have you done any weird maps of like different frequencies of, or some different sensors that isn't just a camera?
I've used a thermal camera. I remember we tried to do a roof inspection, and one time it was still at CERN. We tried to detect a hot water leak underground. That didn't work. It was just a test. I've never used a LiDAR on a drone. I've worked quite a lot with point clouds from a terrestrial laser scanner, but not from a drone. I think point clouds are also cool. Basically, when I was a student, the main field was land surveying, and for the first half of my studies, and that was 5 years, I actually struggled quite a lot because that was just not my thing. And then I found photogrammetry, and suddenly I started learning about laser scanners and 3D data, and you put lasers and 3D together, and that's what I like. How simple I am. It's what got me properly excited about this field. So
You can't say lasers just like normal, though, can you? You say
with the flying labs, we often use multispectral cameras. And then you record each band separately, so you have the RD and V separate. And then what's really cool is that you get different spectrum of different wavelengths of the infrared data, which can give you some pretty cool results. Because, for example, you can fly over a field or forest, and you can tell which plants are, in general, which plants are healthy and which plants need more fertilizer, for example. So this is pretty cool as well.
So, like, you'll be like a bee. You can pick out the good plants and.
Exactly. Be like a bee.
I think they see in infrared, not how we see.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same effect you get, right? If you take like an FPV camera and you open it, take off the lens, and there's the sensor, and you've got the little glass bit that's the infrared filter.
Oh, that's the UV filter. You take that out and you get wacky colours.
Yeah, you take that out and you get the wacky colors, and you can even
Yeah.
replace it with, if you've got a bit of old photographic film, then you can use that so it blocks the visible light, but allows the near visible infrared light, which is what the kind of the plants reflect a lot when they're healthy. And then you can have your own little kind of infrared sensor doing it that way. And I think
Why have you
that's-
never done this, Frank? Put it in
I
the
have.
queue behind you. Well, where's your video?
Where's the video? Oh, well, it's archived. I just
Oh
haven't
yeah, Frank
made
doesn't
it.
make videos. He just pretends
It's
to make
there.
wings.
It's on hard drive. I just haven't made the
there's
video
a photo
yet.
of it, a few photos of it on, at least on my Flickr. Maybe not on anything more recent.
Is that still a thing?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah, you get some interesting, weird effects doing that way. But then obviously you can be much more effective and actually use it for social good and working out where to put fertilizer. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Does that
Sounds
mean we
very-
can develop a drone that literally will fling shit, but in a good way?
I think that sounds like a project for.
Sounds like something Jack should get involved in immediately,
Yeah.
given his background in this.
That's for his special Mavic that he's built. That
Yeah.
should be the next iteration.
He's not on to defend himself, is he? No.
All the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, you've been very quiet, and I know we're going to get told off by the comments if we don't speak to you.
Talk to you.
Hold up by the comments. No, I'm just enjoying the conversation. It's interesting. That's
It
all.
is, isn't it? Sometimes you just zone out and you think,
Yeah, it's
am
just
I listening to this on the podcast? or am I actually here?
What have you been up to this week, Andy? Anything cool?
nothing this week, but I went flying on Sunday and I'm going on Saturday. That's about it. I'm not no agenda, just going to fly with friends. That's it really. I haven't got I had a problem with my GoPro 9. I've got to send it back. So
The night? What, the new one?
The
yeah.
new special one? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's my pickiness, really. There's a dead pixel on the sensor. And but anyways, so they're picking that up tomorrow.
Wow.
That's it, really. Because I haven't seen many flights, unless it's just because I'm not looking around. I haven't seen many flights of the Hero 9. Yeah.
I've seen
No one's
a
got a quad
couple.
that'll pick it up. It's too
I've
heavy.
seen a couple, but I've also seen someone's doing. I don't know what company are doing. They're doing so you can make the GoPro 9, 7, and 8 lighter by taking the battery completely out, and then you can plug your LiPo battery in to the Type C.
Yeah.
So your balance cable you have a balance cable and then straight into Type C, so you can get rid of your battery to make it quite a bit lighter.
Yeah, I can see
for
that being
$5 or something. I think
I can
that's
see
quite
that
good.
being popular with the 9 for sure.
Yeah, I can, because it's so big and heavy.
And it's really convenient as well, because you don't like anytime I go fly, I'm like, did I charge my GoPro? And it's that, or if you run out of battery, you can't use it anymore. So having it connect with your quad battery is just something else not to have to worry about. Making sure you take it out of the mount without ripping the connector off. That's a
You can
different.
do time lapses and stuff and not worry about having your internal battery. You could just stick a big external battery on there and do a night time lapse. You see these time lapses.
I've seen them. People are selling them on. Is it like a little USB?
USB-C to thingy. I think it's like £5. I don't think there's any in England.
Where'd you stick it? In the USB port of your flight controller?
No, balance port. Balance on your LiPo. Balance.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose
balance plug straight to USB-C.
That works. Yeah, I like that.
And then you just get rid of that heavy battery, and then you've made it lighter than the Hero 8. And
what if you're using a 6S though on the balance port?
don't know. It
Maybe
may
it's got it won't have a back in it, but maybe the GoPro can take a higher voltage. GoPro are very against. I should watch what I'm saying here, aren't they? They're very much against you using it as not intended, should I say? They took the video out ability away, didn't they?
They did, but it's such a massive battery in the 9, especially if you want to fly. I mean, if you want to do a long distance stuff, you could just run it off your lipo. I think it's a good idea, especially for £5.
Oh yeah, I'm well up for that for sure.
I think it's in the chat already. Is that Richard Warwick put in the chat? Let me just link.
Oh, iFlight are selling it. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. I'll get on to them about that.
There you go, $4.99.
They're already sending me. Sorry, I've already bought a GoPro mount for it. Yeah, that's the other thing. What I do like about it is you don't need a mount because the legs just fold out now, so you can just mind you, you can get it scratched and stuff. I suppose they get scratched anyways in those mounts. I would.
Yeah, my 7's knackered.
Get a mount that's got like the GoPro attachment, and because every time you take them, same with the 8 out of those mounts, get a huge scratch across the top. So the protectors, you'll damage them, stick them in the protector. Yeah. Remember to unplug it before pulling the camera off. I fixed it in my latest video, but yeah, I'm on the hype train for making GoPros lighter for sure.
I have to say, Andy, I'm really glad to see that you did the Flywoo LR unboxing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really, because people I've never really liked unboxings, but I kind of thought I'm going to be flying this before more GoPro 9 for BlueOwl. I'm sorry. Come on,
it's still on topic.
It's going for an hour, Jack. You know, I mean, you really should be here if you want to stop me, Jack.
Oh, he's called the ambulance and holding his finger up in the air.
He was here. He just couldn't sort his audio out and went off in a tears.
There's definitely some sulking going on from Jack.
Sulking. Get your ass here, or I'm going to talk about GoPro for the next hour and a half. Sorry.
Harry, have you been up to anything over the past week?
No, I tried to make my next video in the Open HD series, which was going fine. I'd accidentally blown up one of my Pi Zeros by reorientating it and getting the GPIO pins muddled up. And so I murdered one, but I got a new one through. I put it on my rover. I got iNav running. I'm checking all my servers out. I'm checking it drives around. That's all good. And suddenly it just stopped working. And it's eventually been pinned down to one of the GPIO pins is pulling low when it should be high or something, which is going to take a little while to fathom out why that is. We don't know. So nothing's technically broken on it. The camera still works and stuff. The Pi still works, but it doesn't work with OpenHD. So it's a little bit after getting quite far quite quickly and like, yeah, this works. I put it on something. I said, go, and it goes and breaks. Other than that, as you and Jack accompanied me, accompanied me in a virtual sense to try out the networking option for planes in the sim. So there should be a new sim out tomorrow if I finish updating the wiki. So people can fly planes and quads, and you can try bashing the plane with your quad while the plane attempts to land on a building. That's our new game. But no flying because it's been awful weather, but hopefully it might get out this weekend.
Numbskull FPV, it ripped the entire solder pad off the board. So I didn't mention that in the video, and then of course all the comments are, you can just solder to it. You can just solder to it. You can't solder to bare board. So no. I mean technically I could have cut a trace, but I couldn't be asked. I like the connector. So there you go.
What about you, Tony? Have you been soldering up some Pi Zeros?
Of course. You know me, I'm soldering legend. Look at this stuff. I use only the best solder.
Weird, because that's actual solder, not gaffer tape.
Oh no, I have actually got gaffer tape here. This is my second go-to.
There's his solder.
Yeah. I just like flying. I don't like fixing
That's
stuff.
what I mean. Have you been out flying at all?
I flew at my local reservoir, which has no water in it. I saw someone posted, there's no water in here, and I thought I'm going to go fly there because I've flown there when there is water in there, and I literally went there and walked down the bank, right down the bank where people fish, and there was normally just tons of water, and there was just a little stream going through, and it was just dry, and I thought, well, this would actually be quite cool. So I just got my quad out and done some flying at the reservoir. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I might go back there and fly the same spot in waders because I'd have to be wearing waders because I think it'd be probably here. It's gonna be an interesting video, but yeah, you know, it was really good because it was just bone dry. It was unbelievable, really, especially for nearly October. Is it my birthday soon? Oh yeah, waiting for my presents, Jack.
Is this Jack who did you forget his birthday this year, didn't you? Is he going to do the same?
I forgot Jack, so I'm not expecting anything.
On Thursday, so it'll be next week on the show, Tony's birthday.
There we go. That's the episode sorted for next week.
Tony's
Birthday bumps for Tony.
Yay.
I managed to get out flying for like the 3rd week in a row. Which
Wow, this is like what the hell?
Crazy. Yeah, went up to Greenham Common, which is the old US Air Force base, where there was all the nuclear protests about 30 years ago. Went and flew Fraser Steen's E-Wings Vortini. So there you go, E-Wings. You should definitely come on the show because I've flown one of your wings. So it was extremely fast for flying line of sight as a tiny little wing, but I managed just about. But yeah.
Is that a small one? I thought that was quite a big one.
Well, it was quite small for how fast it was going.
Is it because it flew away and that made it go small?
It got really small very quickly, and then got really big again, and then very small again.
I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we'll see what we do for Tony's birthday next week.
Get drunk.
Yeah.
We can't give him the bump, so we'll have to ask Tony just to keep throwing himself on the floor 49 times.
Yeah.
It's not 49.
That's what Jack's telling us.
Yeah, well, he's lying. I'm young and fit. Thank you very much. 40 bloody 9. Not there yet.
And we'll also have to keep an eye out for the Flylikeagirl entries and
watch some of them.
Look through them and see how the next round goes, which I'm sure everyone is going to be keeping an eye on and looking forward to. Blue Owl, thank you very much for coming on this week. It's very interesting to hear how not only did you fly at CERN, but that you have topped that in your career since, which I think is a very impressive thing to do. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always super nice to talk to you.
Oh. Come back in 6 months. Tell us what you're doing, where you're living, how many countries you've crossed.
Working for NASA next. Flying the drone on Mars.
Could be.
And how you get on with all the bandos as well. We want to see.
Well, she's promised us a video.
Take lots of props.
We will accept the broken bits of quad as proof of lots of flying in bandos.
Yes. All right, we'll try.
Result.
It's definitely gonna happen, especially with the high points.
Because there's fewer leaves and less grass. But there we go. We have had on with us tonight. We've had Tony.
Bonjour.
We have had Curry.
Goodbye.
We have had Andy.
Good evening.
I've been Andrew/Frank. Jack has been just not available or disappearing and having a half. But I'm sure he'll be back with us next week when we'll be celebrating Tony's birthday. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight and see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.